Have you ever felt lost in the chaos of life, overwhelmed by noise and confusion, wondering if there's any meaning behind the chaos around you? What if I told you that silence, yes, quiet, stillness, holds the secret to shaping your true destiny? Nietzsche once said that chaos and silence aren't just random forces, they are the very architects of transformation. Today we'll explore how embracing the chaos and seeking the silence within can elevate you beyond limitations, chaos, and noise, revealing your unique path to greatness. So, buckle up. Your journey to understanding the power of chaos and silence begins now. In our daily lives, chaos surrounds us in countless forms: traffic jams, endless notifications, relentless deadlines, and the constant hum of social media vying for our attention. We often see chaos as something to be avoided, suppressed, or overpowered. We spend so much energy trying to find order in our lives, organizing schedules, cleaning spaces, controlling emotions, that we forget that chaos isn't merely disorder. It's an essential part of growth and transformation. Friedrich Nietzsche, the great philosopher, understood this intimately. He believed chaos is the raw, untamed energy that fuels the birth of new ideas, new perspectives, new possibilities. But what exactly is chaos? Is it simply the mess we see externally, or is it something deeper, an internal force that resides within each of us? Chaos is often associated with confusion, destruction, or turbulence. Yet, at its core, chaos can be understood as the unpredictable, dynamic, and often uncontrollable aspects of life that push us out of our comfort zones. When we face chaos, whether it's a sudden loss, an unexpected obstacle, or an internal struggle, we are being invited into a space of profound potential. Imagine for a moment a potter working with raw clay. Before shaping a beautiful vessel, the clay must be kneaded and softened, often becoming muddy and shapeless. This is chaos, a messy, unformed material. But within that chaos lies the potential for creation. The chaos is necessary because it breaks down the old forms and prepares the material for transformation. Similarly, in our lives, chaos tears down our illusions of control and exposes what truly matters. Now, let's turn our attention inward. True chaos resides within us, our fears, doubts, past wounds, and unfulfilled desires. These inner storms can feel overwhelming, as if our minds are caught in a whirlpool of conflicting thoughts and emotions. But Nietzsche saw this internal chaos not as something to fear, but as an essential ingredient for self-discovery. It is through engaging with our inner turbulence that we start to question what we believe, challenge old narratives, and uncover authentic truths. Moreover, silence plays an equally vital role in this process. You might think of silence merely as the absence of sound, but in many philosophies and spiritual traditions, silence is the space where transformation begins. Nietzsche appreciated silence as a form of profound strength, a space where the noise of the external world falls away, leaving you face to face with your true self. Silence is where we can listen to the whispers of intuition, the subtle cues from our subconscious that are often drowned out by chaos and noise. In modern society, silence is a rare commodity. We are constantly connected, perpetually distracted, and afraid of being alone with our thoughts. Yet, paradoxically, silence is where our greatest insights emerge. Think of the moments in history when breakthroughs were born. Not in the midst of chaos, but after it, in quiet reflection. The philosopher who ponders alone in solitude, the artist who retreats into silence to hear their muse. That's where true alchemy happens. Nietzsche urged us to embrace both chaos and silence, understanding that they are two sides of the same coin. Chaos disrupts, shakes us up, and strips away pretenses. Silence nurtures, restores, and reveals what lies beneath. Without chaos, we can become stagnant. Without silence, we drown in surface-level distractions. Both are necessary for evolution. So the key takeaway is this. Instead of resisting chaos or desperately seeking constant noise reduction, learn to recognize these forces as vital components of your personal evolution. Dive into the chaos instead of fleeing from it. Use moments of silence to reflect deeply. In doing so, you'll start to see that chaos is not your enemy, but an ally, an initiator of change. And silence is the sacred space where your true self begins to emerge. By understanding these fundamental forces, you set the stage for the profound transformations ahead, just as Nietzsche envisioned, transformations that lead you toward discovering your authentic destiny. Deep within the recesses of human experience lies a vast, often misunderstood landscape, the dark, shadowy realm that Nietzsche championed as the crucible of true strength. Many view darkness as something to be avoided at all costs, a place of fear and despair. But in reality, it is here that the most profound transformation takes root. To truly understand ourselves, we must venture into this darkness, confront our fears, and accept our inner shadows. Only then can we uncover the hidden wells of power that lie dormant within us. Throughout history, the most inspiring stories of growth have emerged from the depths of adversity. Consider the warrior who faces defeat and learns resilience, the artist who battles despair only to produce their masterpiece, the revolutionary who confronts betrayal to ignite change. These individuals did not shy away from darkness. They embraced it. Their struggles became the raw material for their evolution. Nietzsche believed that by confronting our darkness, we unlock the potential for greatness. Darkness becomes a mirror, reflecting what we refuse to see about ourselves, the fears, doubts, failures, and wounds that we often bury deep inside. Reflect for a moment on a childhood memory, perhaps a time when you faced an insurmountable challenge or felt overwhelmed by the unknown. That feeling of helplessness, uncertainty, or even dread. These are the moments where true character is forged. The discomfort awakens a primal part of us, forcing us to look inward and question our limits. It's in these dark moments that our resilience is tested and fortified. When we accept our darkness rather than deny it, we begin to see that it holds the power to illuminate our true nature. Nietzsche famously declared that one must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. He understood that chaos, our inner turmoil and darkness, is not inherently destructive, but instead the fertile ground from which new life can sprout. When we resist our shadows, we become prisoners to them. But when we accept and integrate them, they become sources of energy that propel us forward. This process is not easy. It demands courage and honesty. Facing our darkness is often painful, because it challenges our false narratives about who we are. Think of the story of Viktor Frankl, the renowned psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor. Despite unimaginable suffering, Frankl discovered that even in the darkest circumstances, gaining meaning was possible. He wrote about how individuals could find purpose in suffering, and how the acknowledgement of pain leads to spiritual growth. Frankl's journey exemplifies the truth that confronting despair and darkness can awaken an inner power so profound that it reshapes our entire existence. In our own lives, embracing darkness means recognizing that pain and failure are inevitable. They are teachers that show us where we need to grow. Every wound, setback, or mistake holds within it a lesson, an invitation to look deeper, to understand ourselves better, and to build resilience. Instead of avoiding these discomforts, we should welcome them as vital rites of passage. Another powerful example is the myth of the phoenix, the legendary bird that rises from its own ashes. The phoenix doesn't shy away from destruction. It seeks it out, knowing that from the ashes of its former self, a new, stronger creature will emerge. This cycle of death and rebirth is a mirror of our own potential. When we embrace our inner darkness, we allow ourselves to undergo a similar rebirth, one that transforms despair into strength and brokenness into beauty. Nietzsche's idea of amor fati, love of one's fate, encourages us to accept everything that happens to us, including suffering and darkness, as necessary pieces of our destiny. Instead of resisting these experiences, we learn to accept them fully, harnessing their energy to propel us toward our true purpose. When we do this, we realize that our darkest moments are not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter, an opportunity to transcend limitations and tap into a wellspring of inner power. This embracing of darkness also involves shedding illusions about ourselves, releasing the false self that seeks comfort at all costs. True strength comes from authenticity, from owning our shadows and integrating them into our identity. When we stop denying our imperfections and weaknesses, we open the door to genuine growth. The process is akin to an alchemist turning base metal into gold. The impurities are necessary ingredients for transformation. Many spiritual traditions echo this theme, emphasizing that true enlightenment or awakening often stems from confronting the shadow self. In psychology, Carl Jung spoke of the shadow, the unconscious parts of ourselves that we tend to hide away. Jung believed that acknowledging and integrating our shadow leads to wholeness, authenticity, and personal power. Without facing the darkness, we live in fragmentation, driven by unconscious fears and impulses that control our actions. The more we resist our darkness, the stronger its grip on us becomes. Conversely, the more we embrace it, the more we reclaim our personal sovereignty. In our modern world, silence has become almost a foreign concept. We are constantly bombarded by noise, music, notifications, chatter, the relentless hum of urban life, that it's difficult to find a quiet space, let alone sit in silence for an extended period. Yet, paradoxically, silence is one of the most potent forces available to us, a sacred space where transformation can occur if we learn to access and embrace it. Many people view silence as uncomfortable or even frightening. It's often associated with loneliness, boredom, or a void we try to fill with distractions. Society programs us to believe that silence signifies a lack or deficiency, that being alone with our thoughts is something to avoid at all costs. And yet Nietzsche, along with countless spiritual and philosophical traditions, teaches us that silence is not merely the absence of sound. It is a vital state of being, a profound form of strength and clarity. If we think about the essential moments of insight and breakthroughs throughout history, they often occur in moments of silence. It's in the quietude, away from the chaos, that our subconscious begins to whisper truths that are silenced in everyday distraction. Think of the artist who retreats into solitude to hear the muse's voice, or the scientist who contemplates alone late into the night, only to stumble upon a groundbreaking idea. Silence creates the fertile ground for intuition, inspiration, and clarity to rise. But how do we cultivate a relationship with silence amidst a noisy world? First, it begins with awareness. We must recognize the constant noise, not only external but internal, that prevents us from connecting to our deeper selves. The mind, conditioned by countless stimuli, is often restless, jumping from thought to thought, craving the next sensation, the next distraction. Our challenge is not simply to seek silence, but to learn how to enter and sustain it. One practical way is to intentionally carve out moments of silence in daily life. This might mean waking up before dawn to sit quietly with your thoughts, turning off your devices and disconnecting from digital distractions, or creating a dedicated space in your home for meditation or reflection. Even 5 or 10 minutes of stillness can begin to build a bridge to a more profound state of silence within. The key is consistency, making silence a regular part of your routine rather than a rare occurrence. Another powerful practice is mindfulness, being present with whatever is happening right now. In mindfulness meditation, you focus on your breath, sensations in your body, or simply observe your thoughts without judgment. This act of mindful observation allows you to detach from the chatter of your mind and enter a state of spacious awareness, where silence naturally arises. Over time, this silence becomes a refuge, an anchor that grounds you amid external chaos and internal turbulence. But silence is not only about stillness, it's also about listening. Truly listening to ourselves and the world around us requires a quiet mind and an open heart. When the external noise subsides, you become attuned to the subtle signals, your intuition, gut feelings, and inner guidance that often go unnoticed in the hustle and bustle. It's in this listening that we find their wisdom, guiding us toward authentic choices and deeper understanding. Many great thinkers and mystics have emphasized the importance of silent contemplation. Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese sage, advised silence as a way to connect with the Tao, or universal flow. Jesus Christ withdrew into solitude for prayer and reflection, finding clarity and divine insight. The Buddha sat in silent meditation for years under the Bodhi tree, seeking liberation from suffering. These teachings remind us that silence isn't merely a passive absence of sound, but an active state of receptivity and inner communion. In fact, silence can serve as a mirror, reflecting back to us our true nature. When we quiet the external world, we begin to see ourselves more clearly, our motives, our fears, our desires, our values. This level of self-awareness is essential for personal growth. Without silence, our inner voice remains muffled beneath the noise of societal expectations, egoic desires, and distractions. Silence acts like a clearing at the edge of the forest, where we can peer into the depths and see what truly lies beneath. However, embracing silence requires courage. It's uncomfortable at first because it forces us to confront our inner landscape, our unresolved emotions, doubts, and shadows. Many people avoid silence because it reveals truths we'd rather ignore. We prefer superficial comfort over the confronting clarity that silence can bring. Yet, the more we resist silence, the more its value is suppressed, and the more we remain disconnected from our authentic selves. A powerful story comes from the work of Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Zen master. He speaks of listening to the wind in the bamboo, or sitting quietly beneath the trees, illustrating how nature's silence is full of life and wisdom. History is riddled with stories of chaos giving birth to masterpieces, revolutions, and breakthroughs. From the chaos of war and destruction, artists have created unparalleled beauty. From societal upheaval, new philosophies and innovations have emerged. Nietzsche understood deeply that chaos is not merely disorder, but the fertile ground from which the seeds of extraordinary creativity take root. Embracing chaos means recognizing its potential to catalyze innovation, to shatter old paradigms, and to inspire us to see the world and ourselves from their own angles. Consider some of the greatest creative talents in history. Beethoven, deaf and battling personal struggles, composed some of his most profound works amid chaos and despair. Van Gogh painted against his own inner turmoil, channeling turbulent emotions into captivating art. The chaos in their lives, rather than destroying them, became the fuel for their genius. They found within the stormy depths a wellspring of inspiration that pushed art and human expression forward. In the realm of innovation, we see similar patterns. The chaos of societal shifts or technological upheavals often serve as catalysts that accelerate progress. The Industrial Revolution, for example, was born amidst tremendous upheaval and uncertainty. Yet it ultimately led to a new era of human achievement. The chaos of war and conflict has historically led to rapid advancements in science and medicine. Necessity, after all, is the mother of invention. The chaos, when harnessed consciously, becomes a catalyst for growth. The process of transforming chaos into creativity is fundamentally about perspective. It requires us to shift our view of disorder from a temporary and destructive force to a necessary ingredient of growth. Like a potter shaping raw clay, we must work with the mess, the unpredictability, and the turbulence within us and around us. This is where many people misunderstand chaos. They see it as the enemy rather than an essential partner. But chaos, in its essence, is raw energy, unstable, unpredictable, and bursting with potential. One practical way to harness chaos for creative purposes is to lean into uncertainty rather than shy away from it. When faced with a problem or challenge, instead of trying to control everything and seeking immediate solutions, allow yourself to sit with the chaos. Observe it without judgment. Quietly ask, what can I learn from this? How can this disruption propel me forward? When you approach chaos with curiosity, it ceases to be a destructive force and becomes a playground of possibility. Creativity often requires breaking the rules, transcending limitations, and venturing into the unknown. Think of the scientific pioneers who dared to question accepted truths. Nikola Tesla, for example, envisioned inventions that seemed fantastical in his time, ideas born from chaos and wild imagination. Similarly, many great entrepreneurs and innovators found breakthroughs by staring into the chaos, not as something to be tamed immediately, but as a source of inspiration waiting to be mined. There's also a spiritual aspect to this process. Many traditions emphasize that suffering and chaos are necessary for spiritual awakening. The Buddhist concept of suffering as the path suggests that through struggle and disorder, we peel away layers of illusion and ego, revealing our true nature. In this sense, chaos is not an obstacle, but the very catalyst for awakening, forcing us to confront ourselves and discover new aspects of who we are. The alchemists of old sought to turn base metals into gold, a metaphor for transforming the lead of chaos into the gold of enlightenment. Their secret was not in resisting chaos, but in working with it, transforming raw, unrefined material into something precious. This is a lesson that applies universally. The chaos in our lives, when approached with awareness and intention, can be transmuted into our most valuable qualities: resilience, innovation, passion, and wisdom. To apply this mindset, start by creating space for unstructured experimentation in your life. Set aside time for free-flowing ideas, doodling, journaling, or spontaneous problem-solving. Remove the pressure to produce immediate results, and instead view chaos and disorder as necessary steps in your creative process. Remember, some of the most groundbreaking ideas are born from what initially appears as a mess. Another powerful technique is to engage in chaos journaling, where you intentionally write about your fears, frustrations, or confusions without editing or filtering. Pour everything out onto the page, then look for themes or insights that emerge from the chaos. This process can reveal hidden patterns and inspire new directions in your work and life. In creative collaboration, chaos often manifests as differing opinions, conflicting visions, or unanticipated setbacks. Instead of resisting these disruptions, learn to embrace them as opportunities for growth and innovation. Some of the most revolutionary breakthroughs happen when diverse voices and ideas collide, creating a fertile chaos that leads to new synthesis and insight. On a personal level, embracing chaos means trusting that the storm will pass, and that within the turbulence lies an opportunity for profound development. In our hyperactive society, the idea of stillness often conjures images of stagnation, passivity, or even laziness. We are conditioned to believe that progress comes from constant movement, incessant activity, and relentless hustle. Yet beneath this surface lies a profound truth. True strength, clarity, and momentum often stem from moments of stillness and quiet reflection. Nietzsche, along with countless spiritual and philosophical traditions, recognize that in the quiet depths of stillness, real power is cultivated. Stillness is not merely the absence of motion. It is an active state of awareness, presence, and intention. It is a deliberate pause, an intentional dropping of the external and internal noise, to listen, observe, and connect with your core. When you embrace stillness, you are giving yourself permission to slow down, to step back from the chaos and frantic pace of life, and to access a deeper well of wisdom within. The first step toward harnessing stillness is understanding its true nature. In its essence, stillness is a moment of conscious awareness, where your mind, body, and spirit align in quiet harmony. It's a deliberate act of stepping into a state of mindfulness, where thoughts drift like clouds, emotions settle like sediment, and you become a calm observer of your inner landscape. This is the space where clarity emerges, where unattended intuition awakens, and where genuine insight blossoms. Practicing stillness can begin with simple routines. You might start your day with a few minutes of conscious breathing, pausing and taking deep, deliberate breaths, feeling the rise and fall of your chest, grounding yourself in the present moment. Such a simple act, repeated daily, helps to anchor you amidst external chaos and internal turbulence. Over time, this practice develops into a powerful tool for recalibrating your mind and emotions. Another approach is moment-to-moment mindfulness, paying close attention to the details of your environment, sensations, and thoughts without judgment. Whether you're walking, eating, or simply sitting, practice being fully present. Notice the texture of the chair beneath you, the taste of your food, the sensation of the air on your skin. As your awareness sharpens, you create a space between stimulus and response, a pause that allows you to choose your actions more intentionally, rather than reacting impulsively. Deep stillness also involves unstructured reflection, allowing thoughts to surface without clinging or resistance. Set aside regular periods where you sit quietly, perhaps with eyes closed or gazing softly. During these moments, observe your thoughts like a witness, without getting entangled in them. This practice cultivates a sense of spaciousness within your mind, where insights arise naturally, unforced. In addition to formal practices, stillness can be woven into everyday activities. For example, amidst busy tasks, take brief pauses to breathe deeply and realign yourself. Between meetings, moments, or errands, pause for a few seconds to ground yourself. These micro moments accumulate over time, fostering resilience and mental clarity. The power of stillness isn't limited to individual reflection. It extends into action. When faced with difficult decisions or challenging circumstances, practicing stillness allows you to step back, observe the situation clearly, and respond from a place of wisdom rather than impulsive emotion. In this space, the mind becomes less reactive and more discerning, enabling you to act with purpose and authenticity. Many great leaders, thinkers, and mystics have emphasized the importance of silence and stillness. Lao Tzu often spoke of the softness and stillness that contains all power. The Buddha spent years in silent meditation, uncovering profound truths beyond words and concepts. Nelson Mandela found strength in moments of quiet reflection, which sustained him through years of imprisonment and turmoil. Their examples remind us that real power lies not in the constant pursuit of activity, but in mastering the art of deliberate stillness. In some traditions, stillness is equated with the state of flow, where consciousness is fully immersed in the present moment, and time seems to disappear. It's during these peak moments of presence that creativity, problem-solving, and genuine connection flourish. When your mind is quiet and your attention is fully here and now, you tap into a well of innate wisdom and intuition that can guide you through even the most complex challenges. Stillness also cultivates patience. an essential virtue in a world obsessed with immediate results and gratification. When you slow down and embrace patience, you allow ideas, relationships, and projects to develop naturally. This patience prevents burnout, reduces anxiety, and ensures your actions are aligned with your deeper purpose. Practicing stillness requires courage, especially in a culture that valorizes busyness. It demands that you resist the temptation to fill every moment with distraction and instead create sacred spaces for reflection. It's a practice of trust, trusting that in stillness, answers will emerge, intuition will sharpen, and strength will be rekindled. Modern life seems designed to drown out our inner voice. Everywhere we look, external noise, our constant notifications, social media feeds, hurried conversations, and the relentless demands of daily routines competes for our attention. We become conditioned to respond quickly, to react impulsively, and to seek distraction as a default mode. Amidst this cacophony, many of us feel lost, disconnected from ourselves, unsure of our true purpose or direction. Nietzsche's philosophy reminds us that in the midst of external chaos, the most vital act of strength is to cultivate a sanctuary of silence within, a sacred space where our authentic selves can emerge and be heard. Finding clarity and strength in the midst of external noise requires a deliberate act of inner discipline. We must learn to step away from the distractions, to turn inward, and to create pockets of silence where our inner voice can unfold. This process isn't passive. It's an active choice to prioritize silence as a foundation from which true strength flows. The first step is developing awareness of the external noise that unknowingly controls us. Notice how often you check your phone, respond to notifications, or succumb to the urge for instant entertainment. Recognize how these external stimuli fragment your attention and fragment your sense of self. Only through awareness can you begin to reclaim your mental space and your personal sovereignty. Once aware, the next step is to intentionally create space for inner silence. This could be as simple as turning off your devices for a set period each day, finding quiet moments during your commute, or setting aside time for meditation. Even a few minutes of dedicated silence can start to rewire your nervous system, strengthening your capacity to listen inward and discern your true voice from the chatter of the external world. Cultivating inner silence also involves a mindset shift, learning to be comfortable with stillness and solitude. Many people fear silence because it confronts them with their deepest fears and unresolved feelings. Society often equates silence with loneliness or failure, but in truth, silence is the fertile ground for authentic connection with oneself and with higher insight. When you sit in silence, you begin to transcend the superficial layers of identity that are shaped by external approval, superficial success, or societal expectations. You tap into a core of unwavering strength that exists beyond fleeting circumstances. A practical way to deepen this inner silence is through mindful meditation or breathing exercises. Focused breathing acts as an anchor, calming a restless mind and inviting stillness. As you observe each inhale and exhale, thoughts drift away naturally. You become a witness rather than a participant. Over time, this practice sharpens your ability to remain grounded amid external chaos, maintaining inner calm even when life becomes turbulent. It's also crucial to develop a habit of introspective reflection. Journaling, for instance, is a powerful tool. Set aside a few quiet moments each day to write freely about your feelings, doubts, hopes, and fears. Don't censor or judge. Simply let your thoughts flow onto the page. This act clears mental clutter and reveals hidden insights that are often obscured by the noise. Through regular reflection, you strengthen your capacity to understand your inner landscape, distinguish your authentic desires from superficial urges, and make choices rooted in clarity. Another dimension of cultivating inner silence is learning to listen deeply, not only to your inner voice, but also to the subtle messages of life itself. The external noise often drowns out these hints, intuitive nudges, and silent signals that guide us toward our purpose. When you create silence within, you develop heightened sensitivity to these messages. You begin to notice recurring themes in your thoughts, symbols that appear in your dreams, and synchronistic events that seem to carry guidance. These whispers of your higher self serve as anchors during times of uncertainty, providing strength and direction. On a practical level, establishing rituals of silence can serve as anchors in your daily routine. This might include morning silence, sitting quietly before starting your day, midday pauses, stepping away from your workload to breathe deeply, or evening reflection, reviewing your day in solitude. These rituals serve not only as moments of refuge, but as ongoing reminders of your inner strength and the importance of maintaining a connection with your core self. An essential lesson from Nietzsche's philosophy is that the external world may continue to shout and demand, but your internal sanctuary of silence is where true strength resides. When external chaos tries to unsettle you, you can return to this inner refuge, a calm, clear conviction rooted in your silent awareness. It's from this place that you find resilience, an unwavering sense of purpose that remains untouched by transient circumstances. Embracing inner silence also means developing discernment, the ability to distinguish what is truly important from what is merely noise. It's easy to become overwhelmed by the endless stream of information and opinions, which dilute our inner voice and distort our sense of self. Your true destiny is not something that will reveal itself in the loud, chaotic moments of life. Rather, it emerges quietly, often whispering within the stillness and clarity you cultivate. Nietzsche believed that in the depths of chaos and silence, your authentic purpose is forged and unveiled. But the question is, how do you listen for it? How do you discern your true calling amid the noise of the world and your internal doubts? This chapter is about guiding you through that process, a journey inward to discover the profound truth of who you are meant to become. The first step involves dropping the false selves that society, conditioning, and fear have layered over your authentic essence. Many of us wear masks, identities that conform to societal expectations, roles we think we are supposed to play, or visions of success that aren't truly ours. These masks obscure your true self, creating a disconnect between who you are and who you think you should be. To find your destiny, you must peel away this external veneer and reconnect with that pure, unadulterated core of your being. This process begins with honest reflection. Spend time in quiet solitude, allowing yourself to ask fundamental questions. Who am I beyond my titles, possessions, and accolades? What deeply moves my soul? What gives me a sense of purpose and fulfillment? Be patient and gentle with yourself during this inquiry. Sometimes the answers come softly like a whisper, or they emerge suddenly in moments of silence after a period of inward listening. As you decode these inner truths, it becomes clear that your destiny isn't necessarily a grand, external achievement. It's often a subtle, authentic expression of who you are at your core. It might take the form of a calling to serve others, a creative pursuit that sets your soul on fire, or a life lived with integrity and purpose. The key lies in noticing these hints, recurring themes and passions that consistently appear when you cultivate silence and focus within. In the midst of chaos, you can learn to find clues about your destiny by practicing mindfulness and paying close attention to your inner responses. When faced with choices, observe your gut feelings, the subtle pull in your heart, or the insights that surface when your mind is calm. These aren't random. They are the guiding signals that point you toward what resonates most deeply. Over time, as you trust and follow these signs, your life begins to align more closely with your true purpose. Let's consider the example of a person who feels called to help others. They may face external chaos, financial struggles, societal skepticism, internal doubts, and feel overwhelmed. Yet, within the silence, they notice a recurring sense of fulfillment whenever they volunteer, listen, or offer support. When they pause and reflect, they realize that their deepest identity is rooted in kindness, service, and compassion. By surrendering to their inner voice, silence, rather than succumbing to external chaos or societal expectations, they begin to shape a life aligned with their authentic purpose. The journey towards discovering your destiny also requires surrender, letting go of the need for control and trusting the unfolding process. Often we cling to rigid ideas of how our lives are supposed to look, which blocks the flow of destiny. Instead, embrace a mindset of openness and curiosity. Recognize that the path may not be linear or predictable. It might meander through chaos and silence before revealing its ultimate form. Nietzsche's philosophy encourages us to embrace life's uncertainties, trusting that those unpredictable twists and turns are shaping us into our highest potential. Practicing patience and perseverance is essential. Sometimes the clarity you seek emerges gradually. A subtle improvement, a small insight, a new direction that feels more authentic. During this time, cultivating silence becomes even more crucial. Regular moments of quiet reflection help you clear mental clutter and sharpen your perception of your inner voice. Journaling, meditation, or simply being present in nature can facilitate this process, allowing your true purpose to surface gradually and without force. Another aspect of uncovering your destiny involves identifying and releasing limiting beliefs and fears that keep you stuck in doubt or superficial pursuits. Silence acts as a mirror, reflecting back your true desires and exposing the stories that prevent you from embracing your authentic path. When you create space, physically, mentally, and emotionally, you gain perspective and clarity. You begin to see what truly matters beneath the surface layers of societal expectations or internal conditioning. Moreover, it's vital to remember that your destiny isn't separate from your growth and evolution. It's an ongoing process, a dynamic unfolding that requires continual alignment with your inner truth. Life's chaos and silence serve as the catalysts for this growth. You may stumble, change direction, or deepen your understanding over time, but each step invites you closer to the realization of your highest potential. Integrating the lessons of chaos and silence, you learn to trust the timing of your journey. Your journey through chaos and silence has only just begun. What you've learned so far, the understanding that chaos is a fertile ground for growth, that silence is a sanctuary of truth, and that within these forces lies your ultimate destiny, is powerful. But the real transformation happens when you choose to act on what you've discovered. It's not enough to simply understand these principles intellectually. You must embody them, integrate them into your daily life, and share your awakening with others. Imagine your life as a canvas, and chaos and silence as two pivotal brushstrokes that shape your masterpiece. Chaos, with its unpredictable energy, pushes you to break free from old limitations and conventional thinking. Silence, with its serene clarity, guides you toward your authentic self and illuminates the true direction of your path. When you master these forces, when you harness their power rather than be controlled by them, you become a master of your own destiny. So, I invite you to take the next step intentionally. Commit yourself to embracing both chaos and silence daily. Dedicate moments to sit quietly, listen deeply, and observe your inner landscape. Allow chaos to push you into uncomfortable territory. Take risks, experiment, and challenge your assumptions. Let silence be your refuge, your sanctuary of strength and authenticity. This deliberate practice will forge resilience, deepen clarity, and unlock your inner potential. Remember, this journey isn't about perfection. It's about consistency, curiosity, and courage. Growth doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual unfolding, a series of small, mindful actions and moments of awareness that accumulate over time. Trust that each time you sit in silence or lean into chaos with awareness, you are shaping a stronger, more authentic version of yourself. As you develop these practices, you'll notice your life transforming. Challenges will become opportunities for growth rather than setbacks. Distractions will fade in importance, replaced by a deep sense of purpose and calm confidence. Relationships will deepen as you listen more attentively and respond from a place of authenticity. Creativity and productivity will flourish as you learn to invite silence into your work process, letting your intuition lead the way. But the most profound realization is that you are not alone in this journey. There is a community of seekers, explorers, and pioneers who are walking this path of awakening. Sharing your experiences, lessons, and insights amplifies your growth and inspires others to do the same. It creates a ripple effect, each of us invigorated by collective energy, pushing boundaries and raising consciousness together. Now, I invite you to join this community. If what you've experienced here resonates with you, if you feel stirred to deepen your practice, to share your insights, and to learn from others walking a similar path, then I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. By subscribing, you become part of a movement, a tribe committed to mastering chaos and silence, to discovering and living their true destiny. This channel isn't just a feed of videos. It's a sanctuary where like-minded souls come together to grow, reflect, and support each other. As we journey together, I'll share more insights, practical techniques, interviews, and stories that illuminate the path ahead. I want to empower you to navigate life's chaos with courage and to find serenity in silence, tools you can carry with you wherever life takes you. So, take a moment now. If this message resonated with you, if you're committed to exploring these depths and transforming your life, then click the subscribe button below. Join this community of explorers and pioneers, people just like you who are daring to live authentically, embracing chaos as a catalyst and silence as a guiding star. Remember, your destiny is waiting, hidden within the interplay of chaos and silence. Your greatest potential is longing to be unleashed. You have the power to shape your future, to craft a life rooted in truth and purpose. All it takes is a conscious choice to begin, to stay committed, and to continue the journey with curiosity and openness. Thank you for being here, for opening your heart and mind to these truths. I look forward to walking this path with you, learning, growing, and awakening together. Until then, keep embracing the chaos, cherishing the silence, and trusting in your innate power to create a destiny that is uniquely yours. Hit that subscribe button now, and let's continue this incredible journey together. Your transformation starts today.